thought I wasn't allowed the angels going up and down trees like that. Read your Bible.
Read your word.
Easy levels. Oh, thank you. And it's just we're doing is a test. Test 1 2. My head keeps. It's a test. Test 1 2. Oh, test 1 2. Mic check. And we're done. Mic check 1. What's up, everybody? It's your Afro DJ sister, Jackie.
You want to tell me the name of the podcast is?
Just kidding. Welcome back to our podcast. Relax, relate, debrief. I'm the younger sister, Jackie.
I'm no sister, Nikki.
And she's hating on my fro, but this is...
I'm not. I didn't understand why you had to open up with this, your aphrodisiacs.
Because they can see me. Assalamu alaikum. Shazulu. Fight on, my people. I need to be quiet. I don't know what I'm saying. Fight on, people. Oh, what's the Lean On Me song? I mean, what's the Black National Anthem? What's the Lean? No, it ain't Sometimes in Our Life. What's the Black National Anthem? You know it and you don't want to help me. Like, if I was a Black Panther, serving you. What is the Black National Anthem? I can't believe I can't think of it. Nikki, help me. Don't do that.
I can't remember it.
Always doing that, staring right at me. And no, you need to help me.
I was about to say, fly, eagles, fly.
Right along. We thank you so much for tuning into our podcast, Relax, Relate, Debrief. This is a podcast of two sisters who just come together and just chit-chat it up about whatever we necessarily feel like talking about. A lot of it is around hot topics, things going on, and we just simply provide an opinion. It's our opinion, but the goal is to just be fun, hopefully bring laughter to your day. You remembered it?
Mm-hmm. Lift every voice and sing.
That's it! Lift every voice and
You gotta stop.
Okay. Till all the earth. I don't know the words all the way. Let freedom ring. That wasn't it. And that's okay. I don't know all the words. We're not going to sit up here and judge as if everybody remembers the words to every song. But the point of our podcast... The point of our podcast is to just simply have fun, have a good time, the end of your day, listen to us, get a couple of laughs in. We hope that you can just relax, if you can relate, and most of all, just kind of debrief. Okay?
Okay.
That's what we're here to do. Now, we open up our segment, but before I get into that, all of our supporters who have been letting us know that you're supporting us, who are watching, whether you're watching it on YouTube, whether you're listening on the podcast channels, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, we can be found on Relax, Relate, Debrief. Thank you so much. Be sure that you are subscribed. After you subscribe, please make sure that you share. By sharing this podcast, sharing our YouTube channel, you help us grow. So share, make sure that your people know, and that they people know, and they aunts and they uncles know that it's just two fly chicks with a podcast out here. I mean, there's a lot of fly people out with a podcast, but you know. Now, the first segment we like to get into. We'll wait, Nicole. Why are you laughing?
Joy the Lord.
No, it's not, because you keep giggling. What you giggling at? My afro?
No, will you come on?
Tell us. The people want to know. Anyway, we are going to get started with our first segment, which is what we like to call a minute to get in it. You got 1 minute to get something off of your chest. Whether it's bothering you, something that you're excited about, something that you're happy about, something that might be irritating you. 1 minute to get in it. I'd like to open us up. You got a minute to get
You
in it.
did last week. Sorry.
Oh.
You got a minute to get in it.
Woo!
You got a minute to get in it. Minute to get in it. Minute to get in it.
Hey,
Minute to get in it. Yeah.
What if we got a rap? Let's get David to record the is that the bridge? Not me stutter. The bridge. Did you hear me?
I don't know. A bibbity bobbity boo.
Because I was trying to say, okay, but the bridge, right? So you got a minute, and then if we can get a little rap on it. It's just 1 minute. I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna let you know.
Come on, hubby, with the flow. Go.
It's just 1 minute. I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna let you know. Whether it's bothering me, whether it's happy, I'm gonna go. Oh, okay. I'm gonna work on it. That wasn't it, but we'll work on it.
Yes.
Okay, so you are up first.
Can't do it. I'm gonna let you go, okay?
I am up first. Changing again. You are up first. Nicole?
Yes.
You will have on my count.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have 1 minute to get in it. Follow me.
So I just got a new dryer in today because my old one had went, and when they had dropped off my dryer, they had started it up. I guess it had to run for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing got to hollering. Okay?
New
What I
dryers?
want to sound off on today is, engineers, did you think that that was acceptable to make that buzzer that loud when you were making it? Are you deaf? Can you not hear? That thing, I had to turn around. I had to send it to my family members to say, do y'all hear this? Everybody in the neighborhood don't need to know my laundry is done. I don't understand why. You hear me? Why y'all had to make the end signal so loud? And this is a GE product. Y'all have been in business long enough to know better. But yet, I'm gonna keep going. I thank you for that notification, but I'm gonna keep going.
Over this
Y'all knew better when you made it. And I just don't understand how a group of people sat here and thought that it was okay to make. But on today, I am serving you notice. Don't do it no more.
Okay, notice. Is it only making the sound?
No, you have been served.
Okay. It was fine till you got to that point. Served with what?
Notice.
Is it only making the sound when your clothes are done drying, or is it kind of like sounds throughout the drying cycle? What are these sounds?
Ma'am, I don't know. I just got it. And I know.
Okay, you're done. Nope, not ma'am. No. First of all, you answering me like I am on the customer service line is unacceptable. Ma'am, I don't know. No.
I'm just saying. I thought about that thing. You know? Because I was trying to get my thought. That's how I thought about this. Yes. And I'm very serious. GE, you have to do better if you want me to continue buying your products. And I just don't understand it. I believe it's towards it's the end cycle signal, but they give you like a 10-minute warning when you're at the 10-minute. I don't need all them warnings, and then it's so loud. So now I have to go behind my machine, take it apart so I can undo the buzzer. I shouldn't have to do that. I paid too much money for it.
I wonder if while you were there, you could have told them to undo it. No, they probably wouldn't have took that responsibility.
They wouldn't have did that. They would have been like, girl, I was already in the meeting, they interrupted. I'm like, you don't hear me talking? For me to sign. I appreciate you bringing it, because they did come and they take out. I appreciate that. But I'm busy.
You didn't know you was getting this dryer delivered? Like, you got what? Okay.
Well, that was my minute to get in it. You ready? Because you're not going to sit here and keep coming at me.
Thank God for the new dryer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to thank God. I'm going to give him glory for that. Because why? He let it be. You are ready for your minute to get in it. And to go.
I watched this movie on Netflix, and it's a corny little rom-com with Lindsay Lohan. And I like the corny rom-coms. I don't care. Well, not too corny, but you know. And it's called Irish Wish. And I was watching this. Because why did you just go from? Why did you go from that to blue? Like, so what are you doing?
I'm trying to get my lighting together. All right, I paused it. Are you ready? You were watching the movie. Go ahead.
Yes. So I was watching this movie, and it's called Irish Wish, and Lindsay Lohan plays this editor who has helped out this guy who's an author write his book. But in the meantime, she has developed a crush on him. But she didn't say anything. Her mom's convincing her, like, you need to tell him to, that you have a crush on him, all this stuff. Okay, fine. So then, she's like liking him and stuff. She doesn't say anything. He ends up hitting it off with her friend. So, like, he never really expressed, like, interest in Lindsay. He ended up hitting it off with Lindsay's friend.
Minute is up.
I just want to say that the moral of this story was...
That's what you should have started with.
Because I kind of wanted to explain for those that didn't see the movie and probably don't like corny rom-coms and will never watch it, like yourself. So, and it's actually cute. But it actually had a really good, like, message in it. And I felt like, this is really good. Because... she wanted him. He gets with her friend. They get engaged. They're, going to the castle, all of this stuff. Somehow she runs into like Saint Janet or something. I could be saying the wrong words. And she's like on the bench and she's just like, I just wish I was the one marrying him. Arthur Kennedy, was that his name? Yeah, something Kennedy. And, which, careful on the Kennedys, okay?
Man.
And so she... marries, her wish starts to come to pass, but she realizes that, like, that's not even really her person. And the guy who she kind of had, like, a little attitude with when she first got to Ireland, that, like, she was, like, not paying no attention. She was brushing him off because she just wanted to marry this guy. So when she gets in her wish, it's not even what she wants. And the whole time, what she wanted was actually, she came across, but she's so busy trying to focus on what she thought she wanted. And I was like, that is a revelation. Stop wishing and chasing after all these things. That's not even really going to be it. What God has for you, it is for you. And it's not anybody else's. And they showed like how he was actually compatible with the other girl. Like she tried to go biking with him and she fell off the bike. Right, because you don't do that. And then the friend helped her out. Now you're rolling your eyes at the movie. This was a good revelation for those besides Nicole, and your light is still blue.
Because I left it that way.
Why?
Because it's a better picture.
You think so? No.
It's more natural lighting.
It is. But it looks like it's getting dark where you are. Is it?
Well.
The sun is setting here a little bit. Anyway, it was a message. Stop trying to wish for the things, the thing that you wish for, the thing that you think you want the most, that's not even what God got for you. And what he got for you is for you. And it's not supposed to be for nobody else. So wait on the Lord and be of good courage. And she comes out of this wish realizing it ain't nothing that she wanted. Nothing was going the right way when she got into this wish. When she got into the thing that she was trying to force. It was a revelation.
I just want somebody to say hi.
She did. She got the dude to say hi, and she ignored him because she had other things in mind. Are you ignoring highs?
Ain't nobody saying hi to me. So, well.
Well, that was my minute to get in it.
That was your 2
minutes. 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
It's called Irish Wish, and if you like cute little rom-coms, watch it and see if you got the same revelation that I did. I would have went more into it if I wasn't being rushed, but
first of all, you chose to talk about it during a minute to get in it. I wouldn't have chose if I was trying to give a full
because
revelation.
I didn't want to make a whole segment out of it when it's a movie.
Well, you wouldn't have had a segment with that. Not with me.
Exactly. You would have stared at me the whole time. It's a movie that you've never seen, you're not going to see, and don't really have. So it couldn't have hardly went past no 2.5 minutes because it just would have been like, Jackie sure talking a lot. But, per usual, the revelation. Thank you for tuning in to Minute to Get in It. Our goal is to get that song recorded. We got to talk to Dave, our cousin David, producer, and maybe get like the hook on there with a little rap. I wonder if I can go in the studio and lay down. Or at least lay down.
And go to sleep?
Lay down the track. Moving on to our next segment, let's get into discussing some of the hot topics that are going on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Boop, 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 boop. Hot topics. Now, Nikki.
Yeah.
You sent me a clip,
Mm-hmm.
okay, where actually, let's read what it said. There is somebody, this person, I'm assuming was a waiter or waitress, and this is what they said. This is what this waiter or waitress said to patrons or consumers, this is what he or she said. Gratuity is not a tip to your server. We don't own the gratuity. Most restaurants/lounges take half, sometimes all of it. The other half that remains normally. Wait, I gotta hit play. I don't know. Because I couldn't see it. The other half that remains is normally pooled and split amongst everybody that worked that shift. That is gratuity. A tip is a tip. What don't be clicking?
Their brain. Because if you Google gratuity, it is something given voluntarily or beyond obligation, usually for some service, especially tip, added a gratuity for the server.
Now, that's what the Google definition is. Right? I think that's where this is all coming up. Because gratuity gets added to checks, right? Depending on where you are, number in your party, all of these different things. When that gratuity is added, I think what the person is trying to say is that that is an amount that gets split between everybody working the shift. Well, by way of like cooks, bussers, things of that nature. That's what the person is trying to explain, that there's a difference. What I'm trying to explain is that's the restaurant rule. How do you tip?
Take it up with your employer.
Okay, so when you go out, how do you usually like to tip?
If I am being waited on, that means I'm sitting down at the table, I don't have a problem tipping. And I will tip, especially if you're a good waiter or waitress, I will tip good. I'll do 20%, 22% sometimes. It just depends on how good you are. Sometimes there is no amount. I'm just giving you a certain amount that's good. If there's gratuity added, gratuity being synonymous with tip, you're getting your tip. Now, whatever restaurant you're working with, or you work for, if they're not giving you your tip, sweetie, that's between you and the restaurant. It's above me.
Okay, now that you know that they're trying to say that there's a difference, will you be
double dipping? Immediately, no. I'm not. Because y'all double dip on these prices. They're high as I don't know what. And if you're going to start charging people, because I thought the whole point of them actually adding a gratuity onto the check is so that these people that actually service you get paid the tip. Right. Because a lot of people like to sit down and not tip people, period. Whether you got good service, bad service or not, it's just not included. I pay for my food and that's it. Whatever. So, to be fair to the servers who have 6 or more people that they're servicing, they have begun to add a gratuity. Now, if you are unable to handle your party size and you have to have more than one server work with you, then I can see where they have to come in and split the monies. However, whichever way y'all want to do it, I'm like Keith Lee at this point. However y'all want to do it, I give you the money. Whatever you do with it is up to you. Yeah. But I'm not giving you a tip on top of a gratuity. And then you try to come in people's neck like they slow.
That's where you was about to start getting them people that sit down in your section and don't tip you at all for the smart mouth. What don't be clicking?
Hello.
It's going to click. Okay, now I don't want to have to do that.
Me either. But I will.
I think what you need to understand is that telling somebody that a tip is a tip and gratuity is separate is not necessarily accurate, and I feel as though you're trying to force people for a job that you're in. That's the job that you're in. You can't force us into what would be convenient for you, because a lot of people are working jobs that aren't getting what they may feel as though is convenient or is best pay or convenient pay or works for them and where they're at, and this is that and the other. So they don't turn around and be like, 150K is 150K. What is not clicking for y'all? Because the job is like, we're not paying you 150K.
Exactly.
So the thing is that however a gratuity has to be done at the terms and conditions that restaurant has set forth, that's how that goes. You can also find, to my understanding, I don't know much about the industry, but the little bit that I do know, I believe there are restaurants out there where it could be a different policy and procedure. So maybe find the restaurant that has a better policy and procedure for you, because it's giving, you want me to tip every single person that helped me, and which every single time if I have to do that, my tips is going to equal the same as the bill. I don't have a problem tipping. I don't have a problem over tipping, especially when it's the holiday time, if my service is great. But I'm doing it one time.
Once.
One time.
Say for the people in the back.
And regulations don't apply to me. But what I am going to do is I'm not going to be a stereotype. And I'm going to make sure that you're tipped and that you're tipped well. Especially if your service is a notch above. Especially if, maybe sometimes I just like, you just like to feel like a little bit more generous around the holiday times. You understand that people are working primarily for tips. So that's why we calculate and do the right thing. Make sure that we're not leaving you $5 on a $100 bill. That stuff I agree with. That stuff is old and ignorant. Don't do that. But that ain't what you said. You said if you see gratuity, you need to be leaving a tip. Sis, get somebody else to do it. It's one time and one time only. And like all the comments was basically like, they're one and the same. Like, no, we're not doing this. Everybody was pretty much agreeing in the comments. Even people that were, excuse me, even people that serve in the industry was like, girl,
stop.
Because also, if you get like a good restaurant, first of all, if you can get into like these high-end restaurants, they're going to take care of you. Split or not, you're going to be good. If you can get into a good restaurant that stays, let me tell you something. If you got a Texas Roadhouse near you,
come on.
Texas Roadhouse, stay bumping.
Bumping.
If you could get into a Texas Roadhouse, baby, you ain't going to worry about splitting night, because you're going to be turning so many tables. Because Texas Roadhouse is busy. And as long as they keep them cinnamon butter rolls, you don't have to worry about a tip or two, and that you're going to get what you need.
And I want to add too that tipping ministries got out of control. If I have to go, tipping ministry, y'all want to keep turning around the screens, ask me for a tip. 0. I had to come here to get my food. What am I tipping you for? I had to pick up my stuff. I had to get out my car to come get my food. You think I'm about to leave you a tip? Turn the screen around 0 and be just as proud. Let me tell you something. Again, at these prices, if I'm servicing myself, again, I will only tip if I am sitting down and being serviced by you. If you are handing me my food after the cook has served it because you're the in-between person, that's not tip worthy to me. Those of you that ride up to Dunkin' Donuts and want to tip them, I'm not tipping y'all for making me coffee. You got my $2.50 for the coffee. And I had to ask you for extra.
That's the service, though.
What's the service?
Like if you go to a Dunkin' or a Starbucks,
I worked at McDonald's. Ain't nobody give me no tip. I'm giving you money. So at the end of the day, put the tip jars up, put the tip screens up.
Okay, that's what I want to say.
Yes.
Service of them making your sandwich.
Thank you.
Making your drink.
Right.
Technically what you're tipping, but that's not normally as much or a thing.
I'm not doing it.
It'd be hard to hand them $1.
I'm not doing it. It's not about being hard. I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Now, what do you do when people have a screen and they turn it around and it like you have to finalize the payment and it
0 and I say 0 tip and I finalize my payment.
So okay,
I haven't, because people try to make you feel shame about, oh, you don't tip. And at first, before I felt like I was obligated, but then I started thinking about it. Like, no, you're charging me 25. I'm one person. I'm getting charged $25-$30 for a meal, and a meal that I had to come here and get all because you cooked it. No, first of all, I need to stay at home cooking my own food. That's the first lesson. Second lesson is I'm not finna give y'all no extra money.
Now, here's what I will say. There is a difference in working for tips, because I worked at an ice cream shop.
Correct.
There was a tip jar,
Mm-hmm.
and I received plenty tips.
Not from me.
And I appreciate, so I can appreciate tipping. However, in that sense that you're talking about. However, I will say there is a difference in not feeling obligated, because they're not working for tips, and their wages show that.
Correct.
So working in the restaurant industry, those servers are working at a wage of nothing, basically, and they're literally working for tips.
I hate to say that. They knew that when they took the job.
Sure.
So
some people are in a position where they have to. It may not necessarily be what they want, but it's what they have to. So yeah, I know it, but this is, kind of the cards I'm being dealt. So I try to be considerate of that as well. But I will say there's a difference in somebody who is working, getting, $15 an hour and being like, yeah, and where my tips versus somebody but I think that tipping is just like, okay, you tip bellhops.
I don't.
For bringing your luggage up. See, no, Nikki, no.
I don't. I'm not even. First of all, I'm not even in a hotel where there's really a bellhop, a real one. There's like one or two times we were in it, but I'm not. It's not like I'm ever at a hotel. I'm not going to Marriott because y'all brought my luggage to the door. The thing. Oh, most of the time I have my stuff with me, so nobody's tipping me. My thing is, where's my tip?
This is gonna get controversial.
So at this point, I'm done. Like I said, that particular post, I'm just speaking to that particular post. I will not be adding.
The post was speaking about the restaurant industry,
and I did want to say this about the restaurant industry, though. I do feel like they need to come up as far as wages are concerned.
Oh, I agree.
There's no way in the world that anyone should be making $2-3 in this climate, whether they're a servicer or not, just because they make tips. Again, if you don't have a good night, you're not going home with money, and most of your money based off of tips is not good, and it shouldn't be like that. Okay, a job is a job, and your minimum wage should be at least whatever if you want to give minimum wage, it should be whatever the minimum wage is in that state, that particular state. So if minimum wage is $15, at least I'm saying they should get is at least $15, so they won't have to make these types of posts about not getting tipped properly, or what they consider proper.
Yeah, I think they need to start. I think they need to bring up the wages for servers for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So
I definitely agree.
So when I saw this post, I said, sorrows, sorrows, prayers, prayers.
Sorrows, sorrows, prayers. I hope that comes back soon, Bridgerton. We talked about that the other day. But as far as doing the right thing, as far as tipping is concerned, we do that.
I do the right thing. Yes. That's what I want to leave y'all with. I do the right thing.
You said nothing on bellhops, though. But in the restaurant industry. Got it. In the restaurant field, we do the right thing. All right, next up, did you watch Love is Blind?
I did.
And you also watched the reunion?
I did.
So you saw when Trevor malfunctioned? He literally malfunctioned.
Trevor couldn't stand on business to save his life.
I almost felt a little bad for him.
I did, because it was like secondhand embarrassment, because he got up there and said I had a whole speech prepared.
Why couldn't he get it out?
I mean, he didn't even have a sound come out. He's somebody. We can see you, Trevor. With your mouth open.
No, it felt like they made that last for longer than they did.
So Trevor was one of the participants on Love is Blind. he had matched with Chelsea, and they, of course, they if for those who didn't watch the show, they did not wind up being together. So he was like no longer on the show. However, they brought him back, and they brought him back to read him for filth because he has a girl. He had a girlfriend before he came on. She leaked some text or gave some text messages where he basically saying he was going on the show to get them some money, basically, or to get them some publicity and recognition, so he can get some recognition.
Getting married, I love you. This ain't even nothing.
That's it. And what happened was the host Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey proceeded to read those text messages like they were in a play. Okay. They proceeded to act them join those things out, and so afterwards they asked him for an explanation of it, and Trevor could say nothing. He couldn't even breathe air at that point. And he was so kind of like embarrassed and just basically saying like, listen, he's like, I really don't. Then at the end of the day, he just said, well, only person I owe explanation to is Chelsea. If you want to talk to me, see me off camera, I need to get off the stage.
Well, they tried to use him as an example because the thing with Love is Blind is casting does the recruiting. So it is no longer about people that are genuinely trying to enjoy and experience Love is Blind. And, casting goes out and recruits people on Instagram based off of their profile, how they look, and things of that nature. So what they were trying to explain was Vanessa and Nick's point was, primarily Nick was, that is not what this show is about. You don't come on here looking for clout, this is that and the other. And in my mind, I was like, you don't? Because that show hasn't been the same since season 1. So what are we coming on here for if it's not for some clout and a couple more Instagram followers? So they were trying to make an example out of him to say, that's not what this show is about, and don't come on here if that's your intention. Now, I'm sure by the time next season airs, there's going to be Trevor 2.0s. Like, it ended with Jeremy and Laura broke up. Okay. They were a couple. Jeremy and Laura broke up because Jeremy was between Laura and Sarah Ann. Somehow he ends up going to Sarah Ann's house and rides off into the jet skis.
Not the jet skis.
The way they would have had to cut them cameras because everybody in that water would have been turned over.
And Laura was like, the way that I love you.
And you go riding off into the jet skis with the other girl. But anyway, so Jeremy shows up with Sarah Ann, who he's now with. Sarah Ann, though, I felt like her energy was unnecessary. She sat down like, I'm not a pick-me. You're a pick-me.
Yeah. So she was like, whatever. But I think she sat down like that because they've been coming at her neck ever since she been in his DM.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Sarah Ann. Boo! Whatever.
So I didn't feel like her energy. I felt like she just came on the defense. Like, when you watch the show, especially how they was treating her and coming at her neck, like, you sitting up here going after somebody. First of all, y'all been dating for all of 10 seconds. And don't nobody on here belong to nobody. At the end of the day, if we gonna leave these pies.
He chose Laura and proposed to Laura.
He chose Laura, and then when he saw her, he understood he understood the error in his ways. And then when he started having conversations and she started talking, the way that she talked to him, to me, I didn't see it being hard for him to go after somebody else, whether it was Sarah Ann, Susie Ann, or Harry Ann. He wasn't going to stay there.
If you're not feeling it, at least do a Kenneth and Brittany scene then.
No, I felt like
that you're no. Then you need to communicate that at this big age. That's okay if you're not feeling it, and let's not even try to do this alter thing. It doesn't work for me. How you talk down to me, because I can actually empathize with you on that. But just going over there and hanging out with her after you just hung out with my family, and now you showing up on the reunion stage and she's all buck about it. Come on.
I don't feel like that they did that. So I feel like he was willing to. I feel like he hadn't seen Sarah Ann up until the point where he went out. I think once he saw Sarah Ann and they got to talking, he realized, kind of second guessing my decision. No, that's a lie, because he saw her Instagram. So I thought the moment when they got their phones back and the moment they start going on each other's profiles and following each other, I think that's the moment he felt like I probably should have picked Sarah Ann.
Put yourself
However,
in Laura's shoes.
I wouldn't, because
no, I'm not talking about realistically. I'm saying if you're Laura, we all know you're not auditioning for Love Is Blind or Love Is Blind. You. Cast you.
They can't come and cast me. They wouldn't.
We're not. You don't even post. Like I told you,
I don't post, and I'll be like, get off my phone.
However, you're dating someone. They happen to see somebody that they could have had a chance with, and they didn't, and they come meet your family. And
you
then
don't even know them. Like my whole issue is like I can understand in real life. Let's talk about. Let's take this out of the show. In real life, if they was
disrespected.
No. In real life, if they had been dating for a while, and he meets Sarah Ann, and he feels like he wants to be in a situation, I can understand where she's coming from. You don't know this man like that. You don't. I'm sorry. You spent a couple of hours in a pod talking to him through a wall, and all of a sudden y'all supposed to get married and walk down the aisle and live happily ever after? I don't think so. So I'm not surprised at Jeremy's actions. I'm sorry. And Laura shouldn't be either.
That has nothing to do with the disrespect. And that's what everybody's thing is with Sarah Ann. If you're going to be with Jeremy, it has nothing to do with you don't know me. Jeremy signed on the same dotted line as the rest of them. So you knew what the experiment was. If you decided that it was no longer me that you want, you communicate that. You don't go sit at somebody's house till 5 a.m. and then tell me that you're supposed to be okay with it because I don't really know you. But I'm in the experiment with you. There's a point of disrespect, and I believe if somebody disrespected you in your face or played in your face like that, however long it is, you would have a problem with that. And that's Laura's problem. It has nothing to do with, and if Jeremy had been like, I'm just not really feeling this, because Laura to me was a lot. You know, I don't really think she liked Jeremy. She voiced how much she hated the Hawaiian shirts every chance she could get. And that's all well and fine. She needs to be honest too. Y'all can be honest and communicate. But what you don't have to do is nobody has to disrespect anybody. Just let it go. You're not bound to get married. It always starts off with 6 couples and one person always gets married. So obviously you're not bound to it. So let it go. Don't play in my face. I don't care if this is an experiment. I don't care if it's been 5 days or whatever. I think that's rude.
I don't feel like, again, like I'm saying, I do not feel like they if you want to say the disrespect came not because he went and hung out with her, because Sarah Ann DM'd, sure, we can say, okay, she was being disrespectful. And she admitted that, and they had a conversation about that. She's like, I shouldn't have said that. However, when you're saying, oh, he disrespected her, first of all, we have no cameras as to what went on between him and Sarah Ann. Everybody can speculate, oh, they was doing something. He would say they was up till 5 o'clock in the morning. He didn't come home until 5 o'clock. Whatever. He dropped her off at his house, whatever. First of all, I believe he's not that slow. If he knew that he had his notifications on and made her aware of, he could see, she could see what he was doing. He knew she was going to see where she was at. I do not believe he intentionally went out that house to be like, oh, I'm trying to meet up with Sarah Ann and see what it's about. I do not. I do feel like he had a good interaction with
the conversation the next morning would have been a lot different.
What was it? What would have been different about the conversation, Jackie? Because he said, how did he lie?
Because he was like, we were in the alley. I never left the bar. And then that's when she was
said
like,
that?
Yes. And then that's when she was like, you're lying. And she went off. He said he was in the alley. He never left the bar. And she said, you're lying because I actually did track your phone. And you were on the side of town where Sarah Ann was. And that's when he was like, oh, well, you called me.
Okay, I don't think I remember it like that. So
I think you're not remembering. You're giving Jeremy a lot of grace. And I'm not saying that Jeremy should have been bound to Laura. But it's a lot of grace. And that may be how you feel. Maybe you feel like if I only know to do for a week and he does that, I don't care. Maybe that's how you feel. That's okay. But he sat there and she was like, you're lying, Jeremy. And then that's when he was just like, all right, well. And then he was like, I tried to reach out to you and you didn't accept it. So Go ahead, Sarah. I know that's not you, girl. I know you got a good arm. You want to get on these jet skis?
I feel like
That's what you want, and that's what you wanted.
I think what turns me off about the women, especially on the show, is like the nastiness. Like I felt like Laura is very nasty, and
Wait,
I felt like
what about when Trevor was like, she was my second pick.
because she was.
When we found, and I agree. I think Laura was a little bit mean. But Trevor, when we found out about you, you don't need first, second, or third. That's where your audacity came in.
But yeah, like you're not.
I don't think she liked Jeremy. I think there were parts of her that were dishonest as well.
Correct. And so
like
she should have been just as honest as we're telling Jeremy to be. She should have been. I feel like I said in the beginning when we talked about this, when these people see these people physically and they know that they're not attracted to them, know they don't want to be in a relationship with them. Okay, y'all want to go on a honeymoon and it's still not working. I'm not moving in the house with you. I'm just not doing it. I don't need to be any closer to you than I already was. Like those that had broke up during the honeymoon that said it's not going to work, I don't fault you because those are the people that are being honest. Yeah. These people that keep going and trying to make this work and stuff like that, you're not being honest. Like what is the point? What do you really need to go to the altar that bad? You are really that desperate? You, like I said, love is not blind. As soon as you saw him, you did not want him. As soon as he saw Laura, he didn't want her. He didn't want her.
And you go through the experiment because who they were as a person grew on you before you saw them. So maybe let's try to stay in that vein. And a lot of times,
if you just listen to me, you wouldn't have these issues, folks.
There was one couple that did get married, and they're doing well. Johnny and Amy, congratulations. They seem to be doing well. There are couples that come out of this experiment that are still doing well. And that was the other thing. They had all them couples come back. We didn't need
nope.
any of that.
They all had their reunions before. What do we need to see them for?
Nobody cares about Chelsea and Kwame. Nobody. I'm gonna tell you this. If you watch their season, I was still surprised. I'm surprised they still married.
I must say Kwame was scared of Chelsea.
That's done and gone. Stick to season 6. Stick to what's at hand. That was too much from them other couples. Unnecessary.
It was
unnecessary. But I think I already know what they were trying to do because Love is Blind has been getting a lot of negative slack, including from past contestants who talk about the working environments. And I think what they were, and people that feel how they feel about the process in and of itself. I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to show, no, this experiment does work. Okay. Because you're on season 6. 9,000 people have been involved in this experiment, and you showed us 12 that it worked for. So you're still at a failing grade. But yes, the show does work. A moment that I really loved, though, because I loved Brett on his season with Tiffany. Okay, if you watch that season, then I'm not you, but I'm saying like if you.
I'm just telling the audience I didn't.
You know why it's good to love Brett. I loved his interaction with Clay, where Clay was like, I was watching Brett and I was like, yeah, I'm not willing to step up. And basically, or I don't have the capacity to do that. And I appreciated Brett letting him know, like, I kind of come from the same, maybe not identical, but, a little bit along the same lines as you by way of what I've seen. I haven't had a good example. I haven't had the best marriage, but I get up every day and make a choice, to make this work. Brett to me was just like always a winner. And I'm not alone. There are a lot of people on the internet that he was always a winner. So I appreciate it, especially in our community, in the Black community, another brother talking to another brother that just was giving him sound doctrine and sound advice. Because we need more Bretts in the world. Not because he's perfect, but because he is emotionally in tune. That's why. And you need more people that are talking to brothers and more sisters that are talking to sisters that are helping them out, that are helping them grow so that we can get out of this phase that we're in where relationships don't work. It's all about this and it's all about that. And everybody's saying this, everybody's saying that. You need more people to be in tune to be like, it does work if you put the work in it. This is what I've done. Or you need more people that are being that example. So I appreciated that little segment between them more than anything else on the reunion.
I would agree. I can agree with that. I appreciated the words that was exchanged. I didn't watch the show, so I wasn't expecting Bert to cry or be as emotional as he was. But then also, I guess even from saying how he came from a background of not having a father, or really having that father figure to like show him how to be a man and how to take care, but how he had doubts even of his own. But he took the task on and has been able to have a successful marriage with his wife, what's her name? Tiffany. Who reassured him that he's like, I think I'm doing a good job. She's like, you are. And so they seem to have a good relationship. And I could appreciate that Clay could acknowledge that I know I looked a fool on the show and some things weren't quite right. But to say I've been able to get myself in therapy, I've been able to actually look back at previous seasons and see the people who I'm like, I wouldn't mind being like this person. But yep, so I agree with that. Outside of that, the only other people I thought were, they didn't give Brett and not Brett. They didn't give Kenneth and Brittany a lot of time, basically. So we couldn't really dive into.
They walking around here just being like, no, we are totally best friends. He FaceTime
like, best friends. We're best friends. It's getting interesting.
And they just left it alone. I was like, oh, okay.
Which a lot of them are seeming like they're like, even Chelsea and Jimmy are acting like they're just the closest of friends and all that, which proves the point of, to me, when I say, like, you need to have a foundation. You need to have, whether you're going in as being as a friend, or you like know the person to some extent before you're trying to jump to the altar. I think that laying all that out proves the point of doing these experiments aren't as successful as you thought they would be. Because you're thinking, we're putting the ideal person, these are the ideal people. Oh, sure, this personality. But y'all still getting it wrong more than you're getting it right.
Jimmy's not laying the foundation with Chelsea, though.
No, I'm just saying, period. I'm not saying with him. I'm just saying in the overall experiment is that there's a reason why people are just friends and remain in the friend zone. There's a reason why people who are the best of friends actually wind up living their best lives and getting married and having, like, there's this thing of relationships and that people have and develop over time. They just don't poof, it's here. You know what I mean? Like, it takes work.
Love is blind is for the poof.
And I feel like it just makes it seem like it don't take that much time. Right. You're not as successful because it takes time. But we get to Clay and AD, who everybody's mad at Clay, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The only thing I'm mad about, he had to go to the altar. He had to take it to the altar. He knew, but he said he had been saying all the way up to that point that he was not going to say yes. So it wasn't a shock to you, AD, when you got to the altar and he said no.
The thing that I was surprised about was Clay's posture. He was sitting astute. I said, Clay, relax a little, relax.
He did, but he was blinking a lot. I kept saying, something's wrong with it. I was like, did he blink? Right, but that's sometimes everybody's like, oh, he's sitting. Like, could be something.
Yeah. He did all that blinking throughout the season, so I don't know what that was. I don't necessarily blame Clay for not getting married. And I am like, hey, if you are taking the steps to recognize that I want to show up better than what I've seen, I can give Clay his applause for that. Now, AD did say the conversations that she had with him was, if you're strong on a no, we can walk away from this now. We don't have to go to the altar. That's what she said on a podcast. And he was like, no, let's keep going. I don't know. That's AD's thing, her interpretation. AD leans in a lot to her body. And I think that started to get on my nerves because I'm like, okay, AD, like which one is it? Do you want somebody to want you for you, or are you going to keep leaning in, knowing that you have a great body and lead with that? Because you're just going to be in the cycle that you said that you have continued to be in. Because she was like, even when she was telling her story of how she met up with Matt. You didn't have to do that, girl. You did not have to do that at all.
You could have kept that to yourself.
She kept looking back at Clay like, and then she was like, I just feel like he's staring a hole at me. And I think Clay's just like, Clay seen Matt several times. I don't think he looks at Matt as any type of threat. You keep looking over like, it's going to be a brawl if I say something. Clay is like, you're not getting the same reaction out of me twice. Not over Matt.
Nah.
No, you won't. So I just feel like, like, I appreciate him because he said that he was open to dating her. He would like to date her. And she was like, and she has been saying, even on podcasts and such, she's like, that door is closed. I said I wasn't dating you after the show, and I'm standing to that.
That's her prerogative. I think
That's her prerogative. I don't believe that door is that closed, though. I believe Clay's already opened the door several times. And she not being honest.
I don't know. I really feel like
couch.
I really do feel like she's trying to stand on this, like, because she's trying to prove a point. Like, you already had your chance. Like, this is always, you already had your chance. And I told you, once you pass up your chance, all of this, you don't want all of this. No, you don't want all of this. He's trying to figure out what's going on here and here. That's the main part. What's going on here, sis? Well, like, yes, you can physically have your body together, but what you really thinking about? What you really talking about when these cameras get put down? You couldn't see. My problem is you couldn't see that boy was not willing to walk down the aisle. So even if he didn't say no, I would have said, I know you're not ready, so I'm not walking. Now, how about that?
The thing, even though we didn't talk about this last week, his mom broke that down heavily to that dad. And everything that she said was 1,000% accurate. And I believe everything that she said, AD knew too.
But that's my whole point. Is if how you get mad at him for making a decision that says, I'm not ready for this. When we all are watching this, telling you that boy's not going to say yes to you when you walk down the aisle. When he is, trying to run his business, he's talking about your finance. He don't really know what you do. Like, all of these things are a factor. And if he's in, and so he was saying, they kept saying, give him a reason. So he said finances because he really didn't know much about her finances. But even still, like, I just don't, I felt like he said he wanted to date you afterwards. Give him a chance to, I would date, because that's my whole thing. Y'all want to be so married. Y'all so pressed to be married. You ain't really gave enough time to date this person to see, is this really what I want? He had periods of times where he zones out. What's that about? And it didn't just happen with her. Like, I forget who said that. Jimmy or Jeremy or one of them was saying, like, he noticed that, they could be in the midst of everything and in the midst of talking and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden he zones. Well, okay, well, what's going on? Where are you zoning to? Right? What's going on in your head and in your mind? That's what I'm saying. When you're attentive to a person, when it's not just all about you, when you're not worried about all your own needs and what you get. Oh, I told you, you weren't a bad person. And I told you that, like, well, why you couldn't see that he wasn't going to say yes to you?
She's like, Clay, you're not bad.
Don't rub his leg. Get off of him.
He didn't seem to mind the leg rub. That's what I'm saying.
Do most men?
To me, she been rubbing the leg long after them cameras
stopped. Oh, gosh. Either way. They wrapped it up.
It was given, no, we're not together, but legs have been rubbed. Now. All in all, another season done. Another season in the books. Still love Brett and Tiffany the most. And honestly, I'm going to say this. I want to pray for Trevor because I left the thing concerned about.
And when Nick called himself trying to scold him, I said, Nick, please.
And then he was like, you asked to leave, you could go. I said, no.
And I would have sat there. I'd be like, I'll change my mind.
The thing is, Trevor is like a stocky dude, so Nick acting like he ain't gonna ball you up. All right, now.
Nick acting like Nuck if you buck. Okay, Nick.
All right, Nick. All right.
You better know what you're asking for, because this ain't what you want.
Around and find out. I was like, relax, Nick. And he really tried to scold him.
And that's another thing I was gonna say. He tried to prove a point about this is shows real life, blah blah blah. No, it's not. No, it's not. AD said I've been casted. People been in my inbox. They've been trying to get me to come on shows. So if y'all are really serious about this experiment, how about you stop going after people and get people who really want to be part of the experiment? Now, how about that?
Well, they're talking about they brought Chelsea on for that, from Chelsea that's married to Kwame. I was like, I don't think that was a good thing, but okay. Wishing all of you couples and friends the best. Wishing you all the best. And if there's another season, more than likely, I'll watch again. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna pretend like I'm not. Probably will. Moving along on to our next segment, which you brought up an interesting topic that you wanted to discuss. And it was around friendships and in being friends with people. I would say this is twofold, right? Is it difficult making friends as an adult? And then friends that you've had throughout your life up until now, how did you determine when that friendship had come to term? The season for that friendship was over. A friendship breakup. A lot of people have friendship breakups. There's a popular podcast, two individual women that kind of basically went through one publicly. They were good friends, but it just seemed like they couldn't get their footing the same. And one seemed like they kind of needed a little bit more from their friends in general that the other one was willing to give.
Well, wait.
So what are your thoughts
No,
on
somebody.
What are your thoughts on friendship breakups?
I think you realize when the older you get and the more experiences you have that they're necessary. Not we always say like not everybody's meant to be in your life for a lifetime. Some people aren't meant to be for a season. Some people stay beyond their season, and you get to the point where you're like, I don't even want to talk. Like some people come for a reason. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of people I can call friends. Like people that I've called friends throughout the years have proven not to be my friends. Or I've been more of a friend to them than they have ever been to me. And I used to be very bothered by that. I used to, like, I would call people up like, I'm just letting you know I don't want to be your friend anymore. And they would be, I haven't talked to you in such amount of time. I feel like we're not really that friends like that. Childhood friends, I don't have any childhood friends. I literally I know who my childhood friends were. I feel like we just outgrew each other. So one of them, actually, we were friends all the way up until 6th grade. Like they were elementary friends. We were friends all the way up to middle school, and she didn't attend the same high school. I think she moved away or something like that. But after that, like we weren't really as close. So I found it hard as a child to make friends because I'm not a very talkative person. I very quiet. Like until you get to know me, then you're like, clearly you're not as quiet as you portray. But it's like kind of uncomfortable to start conversations. I kind of feel awkward. Like, how do I hi? Like, so and then a large part of that too is like we always had family around. So I have a sister that I'm very close with. I talked to her, I was playing with you as a kid. So I wasn't a kid that required a lot of entertainment. But as you get older, you go off to college and you're supposed to get friends that you get from college, which I didn't. I do have a best friend sometimes. No, we've been friends for a while.
Yes.
You know who she is, and she be watching. So, but we've had fights and not talking to each other and disagreements, and then come back around. And even our relationship has changed. Like we used to hang out all the time, and we used to go places. She actually lived around the corner. I remember she tried to teach me how to swim. It wasn't working. I swam for a little bit, but she told me to stand up, and basically I was not swimming at all. But Like she had been there, but she is somebody who I could talk to about anything. And she's one of the people I would call up and let her know, like, we're not friends anymore.
But you are friends.
But she doesn't receive it. Like, I don't understand. If I say we're not friends,
I have to agree with
I don't receive it. I'm not listening to you. So I'm like, I don't understand.
I'm calling again with another not friend.
I would have to tell her, like, I'm not. Like, we don't hang out. Like, I mean, the dynamic of our lives had changed and, you know, some things had come around. But to this day, like, she will be there for me if I need her and vice versa. There are people that I've met along the way that have been my friend, and I thought we would be friends for a lifetime, only to have a disagreement and never speak again. And then I had to learn that those friendships were just for that period of time. And I still love her to this day. I pray for her, and but I know that friendship had run its course because we were running in opposite direction. We were going in opposite directions, and you had to become okay with that, you know. And it took me a long time to get to that because my feelings was hurt.
Well, you're a little bit more sensitive.
I don't think it's sensitive. I think I'm loyal to people, and when I don't get that same loyalty back, it's bothersome. But then I start recognizing when you don't get that same loyalty back, you just relinquish your loyalty.
Hello.
No hard feelings. Like if I see you, I'm cordial. I'm going to speak to you, but I'm not going to show up every time you need me to show up because when I need you to show up, you don't. Make it lighter on yourself.
Literally.
So as an adult, I've learned, okay, if that friendship has run its course, it's okay.
Trust me, it's okay.
Unlike you, who used to cut people off.
I kind of still do.
No, you still do, and I kind of picked up what you were putting down.
Wait, what? Oh, as far as cutting people off. Yeah, I think I've gotten better with just being older. I think I give grace. Sometimes I feel like I give a little too much grace. Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Because I know when I was younger how fast I cut.
Cut it so quick. JB cut this.
You start just showing me something that I'm just not going to be able to do. It's just not for me. I'm actually very good with picking that up even in initially meeting people. Where it's like initially I can be like, I don't have a problem in this moment. Keep me the cool, blah, blah, whatever. But beyond this, I'm not trying to be your friend. Like, if we all show up to some event or something together and, like, you know, you get the person that's there and, like, maybe you listen to them talk or you just, see how they are. I'm just not there. I don't need a lot of loud people in my life.
Because you loud enough. I understand.
And this could be why it's hard for you to make friends because this is me. I don't. It's just like certain things. I think a true thing is that it is hard to make friends when you're older. But like, it's so funny because people used to say like, honey, them people in high school that was like your BFF. Some people make it out. I made it out with one. He made it out with one. That's it. It's just us. But we had like groups of friends and people that we hung out with and all of those things. But like, you be KIT, all the stuff that you put in your yearbook. I'm gonna hang out with you this summer. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. It was one girl I was cool with. For some reason, we used to call ourselves, what was it? It was like Spickle and Fox or something. What? I hung out with her. We was cool. I even spent the night over her house one time. And we were cool. And I thought like, oh my goodness, this girl is my friend. When we walked out of them doors, I don't think I ever talked to her. And when I tell you that was my girl, she had a car before I had a car, so she would be like, I'll be going places with her. Honey, We walked out them doors on graduation. I have not seen, talked to, or heard from this girl ever. I've never talked to her again ever in life. Ever in life. And when I tell you that we talk all the time, we were cool. We would do like the stats together for basketball. Honey, we had matching airbrush shirts. Never talked to her again. So I think it's like also just like too like a part of life. And I think that like the older you get, the more you realize that like you don't even want all of that. Because a lot of times people be getting on your nerves. Since moving, I also feel like when I moved, everybody was like, oh, do you know people? Are you going to do this, that, and the other? And I just felt like sometimes you're going to cross people's paths because now's the time for you to cross their path. You weren't meant to cross their path at that time, but now may be the time for you to cross. So I wasn't as pressed about that as people were. And I also know that I am like, you know, a friend. I show myself friendly. But I found out a lot of times too, like just because you show yourself friendly doesn't mean you have to be friends with everybody. And so even some people that I met out here that I was cool with in the beginning, as I was starting my journey out here, I'm not cool with them anymore. I don't have no problem, no beef. I'm just like, ultimately, we weren't going in the same direction. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing that people find hard as adults is finding friendships. But I've been friends with people who literally, because I'm just by nature a good-hearted person, and what I realized quickly, and a lot of times why I was coming people, that's me. That's not them.
Right.
So I've been friends with people who honestly had loyalty and pledges to other people, other stuff. Like they're not going to be as good to you in return. So then you decide, are you okay with that? Because then like there's some friendships that the dynamic of the friendship does change. So like I used to hang out with my best friend every day, all the time. I don't hang out with her every day now. We just don't. Number one, we can't. Number two, we just don't. She's working. She's, you know, got her relationship. She has stepchildren. Like she has a whole new, but it doesn't stop like me being her friend, because that's a friend that I've determined of what I know the value is and the value has been. And we have gone through those transitions and seasons seamlessly. That's how you start. It's kind of like what you were talking about, sis. I'll be calling with my speeches and she's like, girl. And that's how you can determine, like, you know what? That is a good friend. The people out here that I've met, like people always think you have like all of these. It's the same 4 people for me out here. The same 4 core group. You ain't gonna hear me talking about because as an adult too, you want to be cautious of what's in your space, what you all the things that you are allowing to get into your spirit. You don't want all that. Mm-mm. You want people that's on the same wavelength as you. You want people that, okay, we doing the same thing. We're young entrepreneurs. You want people that even in friendship, people say this about relationships and it is true, but even in friendships, you want friends that make you better. You want some friends that's even doing better.
Correct.
That's what you start looking for at this big age, as one of my friends would say, at this big age, that's what you start looking for. I look forward to having like good conversations. Sometimes conversations let me know that I don't really bang with that person, because people need to be able to have a conversation and it just be that, even if you're disagreeing. When you start doing too much and you're like, everything's an argument, everything, I don't want that. I don't want that energy. I don't want to have to deal with all of that. Those are the things that I be using to determine my friend factor. You're off the list. Because it's too much. If every time I'm talking to you, it's like an argument about something, I don't want that. Some people are needier than others. If you require a lot, I can't be your friend, because I don't have the capacity for that. You have to find somebody that has the capacity. I don't. And part of that is me. I just don't want to. I don't want to have all that responsibility. You can figure out what's going on with you, because why do you need no? But everyone, I can say of a surety that it takes work, and you do have to get to know people. I do think making friends, especially depending on where you are in life, I do think that making friends is can be more difficult when you're older, but it's not impossible. And I think that you have to determine what's benefiting you. I posted something today that said, I stopped giving people the benefit of the doubt, because when the benefit of the doubt is benefiting you and not me,
Where's the
there's,
doubt?
there's nothing to. She said, "Bye."
Exactly.
I stopped giving people the benefit of the doubt, because that's when it's only benefiting you. Bye. And I had a friendship like that recently. I was like, everything about this benefits you. I'm the real deal. I'm the good friend. I'm everything, and you're actually kind of terrible. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
At the root of it, and that's why I said when I got older, for some reason, sometimes you sat in stuff a little bit longer than you. That ain't me.
And that's friendships too.
Yeah,
Sometimes we
that's
say
what I'm saying.
we say, oh, we sat in relationships. So sometimes we sat and
Friendships.
we sat in friendships too long, and
What?
I'm learning that it's okay
It really, really,
to
really, really is.
to move on, because it's very important, like you said, who you allow in your space and the type of friends. Like, where are we going in life? What are we doing? What are we trying to? What are you trying to achieve? How can I help you? How can you help me? You know what I mean? I'm always here to lend a helping hand and be available to you, but it should be vice versa, right? And we should be making each other better, holding each other accountable. You said you was gonna do this. You ain't did it yet. And I also find myself around a lot of people who got married before I did, who are married. And, I always personally would step back because I don't ever want to be a problem. And I feel like mature relationships, you come in with your friends, and there are set times that you hang out with your friends, and there's times you have with your spouse or your significant other. So, but that's all a part of you working out that balance. But a
Yeah,
true friend understands that, right?
exactly.
So someone doesn't get upset because, like, oh, now all of a sudden you married, you can't hang with nobody. No, I can't right now. I'll let you know when I'm available. But I've never been like that. Like, I respect marriage. I respect the sanctity of marriage. I aspire to be married one day. And so I like that I have friends that I have friends that I can hang out. They are married, and they'll let the spouse know they're gonna hang out with me. We ain't getting into no foolishness. I'm not trying to take them away
There's
from their
a balance
family.
to it.
There's a balance to it. Like, I hang with my single friends, I hang with my married friends, like, or we all come together and hang together. There's no, like, the adult friendships are definitely different than friendships that we grew up with or had as kids, had in high school, college.
Yeah,
But the friends that you have as adults may be few, but they're very important. And you have found a jewel if you have a friend that you've had for a lifetime.
yeah,
You've definitely found a jewel. 'Cause it's not like that. Like I said, we grow up, we get separate. I think about the people I hung out with in high school, and even after, maybe a few years after, but then everybody gets their own lives, goes their own separate ways, and develops their own relationships with other people and other friends, and you no longer fit into that mold. And that's the part I think that we get caught up in, to say, like, that is okay. And for the longest time, I'm just coming into it within the last couple of years of being okay with, but, like, you ain't gotta be my friend.
okay, not true.
All right, I ain't gonna
I
be petty
also
like
am
that.
happy that I have found core friends that I genuinely, number one, have prayed about, and number two, that I feel like are core friends,
Hmm.
like before I blew up. So like when I blow up,
Oh, okay.
I have
Hmm.
those. I ain't gotta worry about people trying to be my friend for something. I already got
That's
my
true. That's true.
people, and they gonna be my people, and I'm gonna help them too, the same way they would help me, because they
Right.
doing. My friends about to blow up. My friends got plenty of stuff going on. They gonna blow up. I'm gonna be right alongside of them. I was here long before them.
Hello, and I know them too. I'm like, how y'all doing? Don't act like you don't know who I am.
In whatever capacity they want to do, I can literally sit down, count them all on one hand, and tell you where the value is and how I see the value. Just in talking, I was even talking to Toya today, and we was just like literally just sitting there, just talking. But even like getting on certain subjects and certain topics, like just being able to have that back and forth conversation. And now Toya and I be cracking up laughing, but that's how we've been since we met, like me and Tiara. Me and Tiara, people can't understand me and Tiara because 90% of the time all we doing is just hearing half a sentence and laughing because we already know the rest of it. So people can never understand our conversations because she'd be like, she said, and I'll just be like, girl, what? When nobody understood. But even like just being able just to like, call it, hey, how you doing? She has some great things that, she's been traveling, all this stuff. And just be able to just talk and get on certain topics and talk about that and just kind of be like, oh, you talk through things like those are the important things. And another thing that you said that's true though is too, like sometimes when you have bigger families, you don't get caught up on friends that much. And we have like a big family, and my grandma Mason, like all of my mom's brother's children who are our cousins. I don't know why I went all the way around the bush to say that. My grandmother raised us all very close knit together. So like even I remember one time me and my cousin Les had went out, and like it was like, people weren't really trying to interact with us. We was like, you ain't said nothing but a word. And me and Les sat there and talked and laughed. It didn't. So I appreciate that bond, but like also too, like that makes me like not feel like I have to like, I can hit up my cousin's chat and be cracking up laughing for like 3 hours straight.
Right.
It's hysterical. So I think that sometimes too, like different things play factors, but like you don't need a whole lot of friends. And it is true. I hate to tell y'all this. If there's a younger audience that this is reaching, if you're in high school, I don't know how many of them people are gonna come out with you. I cannot tell you that. If you go to college, you're probably more prone to keep those friends because you're kind of now starting to go through adulthood and things of that nature together. But high school, it's gonna be a lot of KITs in your year, but you're gonna be like, oh my God, what happened to her?
I did not want to believe it. I'm like, these is my people. Like, we hanging out. I was like, oh, and they said, like a year or two after, and they said we wouldn't be hanging out together. Ask me where they at now.
Baby, because the way y'all used to meet and go to lunch together, I get it.
Meet, go to lunch, hang out.
We in line. It used to be this girl, her name was Joanna. Me and her used to come together and get lunch together every day. We was splitting lunch, like, y'all.
Why was y'all? I wasn't splitting lunch with folks.
I don't know where that girl's at, because we used to like go buy a hoagie and like we was.
Yeah, if I'm buying a hoagie, I'm eating the whole thing.
We was just like doing.
I always been slightly greedy, so.
Well, yeah.
I remember this guy.
Like, I don't know if that's gonna continue.
No, it was good. So I remember this guy one time called himself liking me, but he always wanted to be me to share lunch with him. I was like, this ain't gonna work because I'm not finna sit up here and buy you lunch and split it with you.
How you gonna say you can't possibly like me and need half my food too?
You can't.
Baby, absolutely not.
Baby, I'm not doing that. You better get a meal ticket because I'm not it.
Please come correct. Do not come asking me about my food. It's never gonna work.
I'm like, okay, once or twice you might ask. You start asking, thinking this is an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So be grateful. Know the season. If you have that friend that you just honestly are realizing like, I don't get nothing out of this. This doesn't, or like, even if you like get anxious when somebody calls, if you are constantly like fighting or on the defense or something like that, just reevaluate that and go ahead and bow out gracefully. When you start keep giving all these benefit of the doubts and ain't none of it benefiting you, homegirl said, bye. And I could not agree with that more. Friendships, any type of relationships, like you gotta, because one thing you also realize when you get older is that time is precious. We don't have forever.
Come on.
So I don't want that. I don't want somebody that's always got me, ooh, oh God, I don't feel like, I don't want all of that. I want as much peace as possible with the people around me. And I'm not saying that stuff won't happen, stuff won't come up, but some of this stuff, nah, I'm good. I don't really want all that. So I feel like that's how you need to examine. And it is hard making friends as an adult, but every now and again, and I tell people, pray about your friendships too, because every now and again God will send you, because I think friends are important outside of family because it's like a non-bias, and that's something I can always appreciate about Tiara. So they are important. And so if you are really truly like, I do want a friend and this is that and the other, I think you should worry about that.
Oh, I don't want. I have enough. I have enough with D and Eve. And
I'm talking to our audience.
Oh,
and not you.
Because I know D be listening, and do not ask Eve, and do not put in the group chat what I'm saying either, because she don't be watching.
Oh.
But I want to give a shout out to my old new BFF, Shani.
Oh, Shani is sis.
She can be like, "That's right," but we'll see. Because I ain't heard from you.
She's always tried to have a little bit higher ranking than she has. But we've had several meetings. Now that we have had to have several meetings with her about position. Since you're not No, but yeah, so shout out to them and shout out to my friends too. We know how important they are. So we just want y'all to know that we love and appreciate.
Yeah.
And yeah, friendship breakups aren't talked about enough.
They happen.
But they happen.
Shout out to the real ones that stick around.
Thank y'all so much for tuning into another
Absolutely.
Great episode. Not you coming in just as phony as me. Absolutely.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This might be a little bit of a longer episode, but it was good.
It was good.
You're going to see some long, short episodes.
Like my hair.
long, short. Okay, because my hair is nice and thick. But thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Make sure that you are subscribed if you have enjoyed this episode. If you are already subscribed, please be sure to share. Interact with us. As we told you guys, we're paying attention to our comments now. So we would love to have a conversation with you. If there is a topic that you would like talked about, please comment. Let us know. Or inbox us. Make sure you're following our socials too. Live and Learn and Lifestyle. And Nikki will put hers in because it's spelled funny. So follow our socials as well.
Wait a minute.
And let us know topics that you think would be interesting to discuss, or just simply fun. We're always here for a good laugh. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. We appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.
Stop giving up.